Well folks, it's time to plant some more flowers in the vegetable garden. And this week, I want to show you how we can direct seed these ProCut sunflowers using our Hoss garden seeder. A couple videos ago, I showed you how we transplant our zinnias into the garden. We did some of the Benary giant mix, some of the white, and some of the lime. We also showed you some of our Cosmos Versailles mix that we had transplanted. Both of those rows are doing really great and they should start blooming anytime soon. We also, last week, transplanted some of these American giant hybrid sunflowers into the garden. And those are growing pretty good and they're supposed to get on up to about 14 foot tall. So we're really excited about growing those this year. Also on that last flower planting video, we talked about all the numerous benefits of interplanting cut flowers in the vegetable garden. It's going to increase the presence of our beneficial insects, hopefully keep our harmful pest pressure down. And the most important thing, it's going to increase the presence of pollinators and maximize our garden harvest for those crops that need pollinating like squash, cucumbers, watermelons, things like that. So this week we're going to be direct seeding some of these ProCut sunflowers. And if you're not familiar with the name ProCut, ProCut are the preferred line or the preferred varieties of sunflowers for all the professional cut flower farmers out there. We've been growing ProCut sunflowers in the vegetable garden for about 4 to 5 years now, and we're always really happy with how they turn out and how they grow. The ProCut sunflowers are going to get about 6 to 7 feet tall, and they're a single stem variety, so each plant is going to produce one flower. And the neat thing about the ProCut sunflowers is that they are pollenless, meaning they don't have any pollen. And why is this important? Well, if you harvest these sunflowers as cut flowers, put them in a vase, bring them in the house, they're not going to deposit pollen all over your furniture or your table like your traditional sunflowers might. So these work really good as cut flowers. They're not going to make a mess on your table. They're also really pretty and make really nice, consistently sized blooms. We've got 6 different colors of ProCut sunflowers that we offer this year. Some of these we've tried many times before. Some of them are new to us this year. So we've got the ProCut orange there, which we've tried a lot, really like it. We've also got the ProCut lemon, which we've tried a lot and really like. We've got the red lemon bicolor, which makes a really nice, pretty red and yellow sunflower bloom, and we've tried those once before. Then we've got one we've never tried before called the White Night, which makes a white sunflower bloom. We've also got a red one, and we've got this one here called the ProCut Plum Sunflower. Now with all these different color options, you can pick your favorite color and grow a whole plot of that color, or you can maybe grow a row of one color and then a row of another color. Or what I'm going to do today is I'm going to mix all these guys together and make me a ProCut sunflower mix and then plant it with my Hoss garden seeder. So we don't make a sunflower plate for our Hoss garden seeder. And one of the reasons for that is because the seed size can vary so much from one variety to the next. You take something like these ProCut sunflowers, they have a fairly small sunflower seed, and then you go to something like some of those giant varieties that has a really big sunflower seed. So what we can do is we can take one of our existing seed plates and modify it to match this ProCut sunflower variety. And what I like to do is take a number 3 plate here, which is originally designed for okra or pelleted carrots, pelleted lettuce. I want to make these holes just a little bit larger so they fit this ProCut sunflower seed, and this will work great in our Hoss garden seeder for direct seeding these guys. So the first thing we want to do is make our mix. Now we don't sell an actual ProCut sunflower mix. We might in the future, but we don't right now. So I'm going to take all these seed packets, pour them in here, and mix them up so I'll have me a nice little ProCut sunflower mix variety. So I've got all my ProCut colors in this bowl right here, and I'm just going to kind of mix them up. And each seed packet contains 50 seeds, and I end up using 3 packets of each color, and that ought to give me plenty of seeds to plant this little space that I'm going to plant. Now, if I have some left over, I can just save those and plant them later this spring or later this summer. That'll be just fine, but I think this will be enough seeds for right now. So the next thing we need to do is we need to customize this number 3 seed plate for these ProCut sunflower seeds. If we lay one of these seeds on top of this hole there, we can see that that hole isn't quite big enough. We want it to be big enough so that seed can lay flat in that hole. So we're going to need to make these holes a little bigger. So we've got our drill right here with our step drill bit, and this is the preferred tool for drilling out those seed plates. And we're just going to make these holes a little bit bigger incrementally until we get them just right for these ProCut seeds. All right, so we got those holes enlarged there, and now let's check to see if these seeds will lay flat in those holes. And it looks like they will, so that's gonna work great there. And this number 3 plate is a 3/16 thickness, which is gonna correspond nicely with these ProCut sunflower seeds. If you had a plate that was too thick, like our 1/4" plate, you'd probably be stacking multiple seeds in there. If you had a plate that was too thin, then the brush is probably not going to allow that seed to sit inside that hole. So this number 3 plate works great. You could also use a blank plate and customize it if you wanted to. The hole spacing here, we've got 6 holes. 19 divided by 6 is a little over 3 inches. I like to plant these things pretty thick. So this number 3 plate modified here always works great with the ProCut sunflowers. This is the way I like to do it. In addition to checking the seed hole size while it's laying flat on the table, I also like to kind of run a few seeds through here while my seeder's sitting on the table, just to make sure everything's going to work great, make sure there's no jamming or anything like that. So we're going to put our hopper on there. We're going to put our seed plate in here, our cone, our brush, and then we're going to take this hopper cover here, which I rarely ever use because I like to leave it off when I'm planting, but I'm going to stick it under that seed drop tube there. I'm going to pour some of these seeds in here. I'm just going to spin this rear wheel and make sure nothing is jamming. And I can see my seeds dropping out down here. Seems like it's dropping a good amount of seeds. Nothing is jamming. So we should be good to go. Now I'm going to set my planting depth using this little gauge right here. So you can see there's 3 bubbles there. That first bubble is a 1/2 inch. The second bubble here is 1 inch, and this last one will be 1.5 inches. And I want to plant these on about 3/4 inches deep. So I'm going to position this gauge so it's flush with this frame between that first and second bubble there. So that should be about right there at about 3/4 inch deep. All right, so we've got our ProCut sunflower mix here that we made. We took our number 3 seed plate and modified that for these seeds here. We even ran some through the seeder to make sure everything was going to work really well. We've got our depth gauge set. Now it's time to plant. So the area that I'm going to plant today is on a plot that's about 60 foot long. Now I'm not planting the entire plot because I still have some shallots on one side. I still have some collards on the other side, but there's really nothing in the middle of this plot. It's already been harvested there. So I want to put some of these sunflowers in there to kind of fill that gap because I don't really have any other spring or summer crops to plant right now. So that area is about 10 foot wide and, like I mentioned, about 60 foot long, and we should have plenty of seeds to plant that space. Now before I plant these ProCut sunflowers with my Hoss garden seeder, I'm going to take my single wheel hoe with the 12-inch oscillating hoe attachment and just kind of scuff up the ground a little bit. Just cultivate that first couple inches there so I have some available soil where when that seeder passes over, that drag chain can grab that soil and cover those seeds. As far as the row spacing goes, I'll probably plant these rows about 2 to 3 feet apart. I'm not going to mark it off. We don't have to be really exact with this process. These sunflowers will grow regardless. So we're going to space them out about 2 to 3 feet apart. Now we're not putting these on drip tape. We're just going to use overhead watering like we've been doing on our shallots. We have put them on drip tape in the past, and that works really well, but we're not going to do that today. We'll just take an overhead sprinkler and water them in once we planted them. So I'm going to head on over to this plot and get it cultivated and get it quickly planted with our Hoss garden seeder. If you're interested in any of these ProCut seeds or any of the tools used in this video, I'll be sure to put some links below. If you'd be interested in us carrying a ProCut color mix like I made today, let us know and we'll be glad to try to add that to the site in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time.